Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be replacing the rear wiper motor in a 2016 Yukon in this video. I'd like to give a special shout out to all my loyal subscribers. Thank you, and I really appreciate that. So the first thing I'm doing here is pulling this upper inner trim panel. Somebody's already had it off before. I can see it doesn't sit completely flush. So I'm just working these edges out, pulling the bottom out, and then I can pull back firmly on the upper section of it and release it. And there it goes. There's a couple busted clips in there. The center alignment dowel is bent at a 45. They didn't find the hole in the upper section of the tailgate, so we'll fix that. And the driver's side outer lower section, the plastic tower that attaches to that trim panel is missing and the clip's missing, but there's still enough in there to hold it. And just fishing one of the plastic or the metal clips with my flexible magnet. Pull the center nut for that outer trim plate. Kind of working it here to see how well it's attached. Feels like I'm going to break it, so I'm going to go back on the inside and pinch the plastic ears together and push them up and out. But before I can get that completely out, I need to pull this wiper arm. It's a 13 millimeter nut. Pop that off of there. There's some corrosion under there. I'll spray a little penetrant in there and see if that helps free it up, which it doesn't. The thing is really attached. I'll use my little wiper arm remover. It works pretty slick. But it still doesn't want to come off there. We got some pretty good force on it now. We'll keep going, and then that's where I bend my rod, so we'll straighten that out. Try tapping her off with a hammer. Still no go. So we'll pull out the air hammer and give it some love taps with that. There, it breaks loose. Pull the wiper arm off. Now we can get back after this trim plate. Just doesn't act like it wants to pry off without breaking. If I go too hard and it breaks, and I gotta order clips. Sometimes if you pull on it and kind of wiggle it, they'll pop off. So we'll do the same for this right side. Kind of get up in there with the pry bar and a long pick. Pinch the ears together and release the passenger side of that trim plate. There, you got it to pop loose. Pull that off. A couple of the rubber gaskets stuck to the tailgate, so we'll just swap those back over. Do some cleanup work in the back. And then remove the large plastic nut. There's a large plastic bushing that goes to the tailgate. You just leave that in there, and the wiper shaft will just slide out the center. Pull the electrical connector. Remove the two 8mm bolts. And slip this wiper motor out. Reinstall one of the nut clips. Our parts department got me a OEM GM part, which is nice. There's the part number. I always like to do a little visual inspection of the part to make sure they look correct, which it does. Install the new one, slip the wiper shaft up through that plastic bushing. Run the bolts in a little bit. I'll do a final tighten later. Reinstall the plastic nut. Snug the nut up. Reconnect the electrical connector. Tighten the 2 bolts down. Do a final tighten on that large plastic nut. Without breaking it, of course. Snap this upper panel back on. Turn the key on, turn the rear wiper on, make sure it works. Yep, it's moving. And we can go ahead and shut it off so it goes to its park position. Reinstall the wiper arm. It's probably a good idea to put the blade on before you put the arm on, but I did not do that. Reinstall the pivot nut. Tighten it down with my 90-degree 3/8 drive Milwaukee impact. I really like that tool. I've got the 1/2" version as well. Love that one also. Spray some penetrating oil on the pivot. It's got a little bit of corrosion there. Make sure it's working free. Now I'll do the wiper arm, which I should have done before. Or I should say wiper blade. Snap a new blade on. We'll do a couple test swipes, make sure it's working good and goes back to the park position. Working great. It's all parked back up in there where it should be. So let's bend that locating pin back. We'll use an inspection mirror, make sure I get it installed so we get it in correctly this time. Pound the plastic trim back up in there. Then work the sides in. There's one clip on each side. And then snap the bottom in. Fits pretty good now. This side over here is missing the side clip. Nothing I can do there. It's busted off the trim panel. It'll need a new panel, but It'll stay up in there, it won't fall down. Looks great. This job is complete. Okay guys, thanks for watching.